Great news for the 49ers after they beat the Carolina Panthers and moved to 8 wins this season. Massive push in terms of the goal of making it to the playoffs. We're going to talk about all that, so much more. Hit subscribe if you're looking for 49ers content like that. First, I got to know, what are your thoughts on the game? Who stands out to you? What about this game is meaningful to you? We're going to talk about the good and the bad. We have to, of course. That is what post-game is all about. But my goodness, the great news for the 49ers, like if I'm just going to paint it in a nutshell for you here. I know I'm mixing verbiage there. For me, it's this defense. You guys, if you told me this game would be won by the defense, and don't even tell me any other way that this game was not won by the defense. Yes, the offense did great things. I'm going to talk about those too. But my goodness, the defense kept us in this game in a big, big way. Yes, with the 2 takeaways from Jair Brown. That's why he's on the screen right now. But also big stops, 3 and outs. This defense, who is so beaten up, who has Sam Okuanu, like, I love the guy. He seems like he is an impact player, and he's going down injured. Bryce Huff's getting held left and right. Like, he got in a position so many times to be meaningful. We'll get into those things too. But, man, for me, the big news right now is even when the offense is not perfect, which is what George Kittle's asking for, even when the offense is not perfect, this defense can be successful. Give all the credit in the world to Tig Brown tonight, because you know what? He's had a lot of bad games, and he has not looked like his 2023 self at all times last year or this year, but he looked fantastic tonight. He looked great tonight. And, you know, you got to give the guy credit, because if we're going to be hard on him when he's bad, we got to be great. We got to be good for him when he's good. That's the one that sticks out to me the most. That first pick, especially in a moment that really that interception from Brock Purdy kind of throws the game in a direction it shouldn't have to go, and not protecting the football in several instances. You got 3 picks and a fumble. Fortunately, we recovered that fumble. But man, you got to give the defense massive credit. Give Robert Saleh massive credit. Let's jump straight into it and just get into just some of the biggest storylines from the game for me, which starts with the level of aggression the 49ers seem to feel they have to do with Brock Purdy. And that's the risking the ball on some of these downfield plays that don't seem necessary, especially pick number 3, where he looks like he's about to run for a first down and just not planted. He's on the move. Goes for the deep ball to Ricky Pearsall, who was in a great position. Like, no one would fault a quarterback for wanting to throw in that scenario, but it just was unnecessary. It was unnecessary from so many different angles. And I'm not hating on Brock Purdy here. I love Brock Purdy. I think he's our quarterback. I really do. Like, this is not about quarterback controversy, and I'm sure this week we're going to hear it. We're going to hear about the quarterback controversy. Mac Jones is better. We should have let him stay in, or whatever. I don't care about any of that stuff. I would rather have Brock Purdy. But huge asterisk on that, okay? The way the 49ers play with Mac Jones was much more efficient, much more intentional. And you got George Kittle coming back, which adds another element in the passing game and helps your run game. So your run game's starting to get some rhythm. Brian Robinson Jr. is starting to get some new rhythm. And there's no reason in my mind to not play a simple football against the team. We saw it in the very first drive. Look at the first drive. I charted the game here. You've got Christian McCaffrey, Ricky Pearsall. You have an incomplete pass, Brian Robinson Jr., Christian McCaffrey, Luke Farrell, Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson Jr., Christian McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings with the touchdown, okay? CMC is all over that drive. Now, I'm not saying let's run him into the ground. I know there's a lot of people who have strong opinions about that. My point is, you are 8 minutes and 43 seconds, 15-play drive, 72 yards down the field, and ends in a touchdown. Not a single one of those plays was an explosive. The biggest play is a pass play to Christian McCaffrey, goes over 10 yards. And it's a 3rd and 10, goes for like 11, right? That's the biggest play on the drive. Now, I understand that there is value to the deep ball. I understand there's value to keeping a defense honest. But when you open the game with that drive, this is just my personal opinion, when you open the game with that drive, you don't need to get crazy with it. You don't need to play hero ball in the first half. I believe I've said this now 100,000 times. Please don't play hero ball until the game requires it. Don't try and go out there and be Superman until Superman is needed to save the world. You get what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in there. That being said, I don't have a problem with Brock Purdy making deep balls. He's great at the deep ball. He's better than most people give him credit for. He's significantly better than most of the quarterbacks in the NFL on deep passes. And tonight he wasn't, and that's okay. Tonight just wasn't his night. And on a night when it wasn't your night, you don't have to double down. You could just say, hey, let's just get back to what worked and let's keep doing that. I don't see why that is an issue. Until they stop it, there's no reason not to. Now, in the opening portion of the game, you saw exactly what Kyle Shanahan always says, that they're always looking to kind of 50-50 the same. So you got, and it doesn't always look like 50-50 in the short term, but in the long term, you see the 50-50. So it's run, pass, pass, run, pass, 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 run, run, pass, run, pass, right? So you see that back and forth on that. And this team is capable of sustaining drives like that. We see it when they open in the second half. What do you see in the opening of the second half? You see run, pass, pass, run, pass, run. Okay? And that's another long, sustained 7 minutes and 43-second, 80-yard drive of 13 plays. Again, you don't have to do anything like truly heroic because your team is that good and your coach is that good. Your offensive coordinator is that good. Your quarterback can run that system. I don't see any need for it. That being said, that's my only real gripe from the game is I feel like sometimes we're trying to force something that doesn't have to be forced. And by the way, that first interception, it's 1st and 10, opening the drive, a pass to Juwan Jennings. The play call is brilliant. The play call is brilliant because you run the ball in the first down a lot. And teams know that, and they're planning for it. So you do a little play action. They bite. It's a perfect play call. The problem is I don't think the coverage warranted the pass. That's the problem. It warranted a check down, in my opinion, because there was a massive gap about 15 yards wide or 15 yards long width of the field that you could have just done a check down ball. But I'll get off the high horse. And I'm getting back on the other things. What I do love, Brock Purdy, he throws 3 picks, and he acts like nothing happened. He goes out there, and he plays the same way every single down. That is really, really important in football. I'm going to give Brock Purdy massive credit for that. Brock Purdy, by the way, ends with how many yards total? 23 for 32 for 193 yards. Not a great game from him, in that regard, I guess. Gets a touchdown and 3 picks, of course. Not great. Not going to have a nice rating. This isn't going to be one that pats the stats or whatever. But overall, moving the ball well, the 49ers did exactly what they needed to do. If you take those 3 picks away, if you take 1 or 2 of those picks away, this game looks much more realistic, much more comfortable for where it was. But this defense, my goodness. I want to talk about the defensive line play because Clelin Ferrell, this is a guy that barely makes it onto an NFL team this season, and he has been an impact player since he came in that first game against the Giants. And again tonight, the 49ers seemed to me to get a decent number of pressures. Not amazing by any stretch of the means, but good, very good, I'd say. Because a lot of times those pressures are coming from rushing 4. So that's out of your base defense. I got to give the guys credit for that, for sure. And Clelin Ferrell getting in there and getting a sack, that was a big deal for him. That was a big deal for the team who needs that relief. That sack relief is something special. So you get 2 interceptions from Jair Brown. You get a sack from Clelin Ferrell. You get some pressures from Huff that make you feel good. And I feel like this defense, is playing way above their weight class. They're punching above their weight for sure. And that's just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me on that. I think there's something to be said there. Curtis Robinson did not have a perfect game by any stretch of the means, but I thought he did okay for a good chunk of the game. 49ers run defense did pretty well for the majority of the game. So you got to give the 49ers some massive credit for that. They only allowed a total of 69 yards rushing, and several of those coming from the quarterback. And so you kind of can look off a couple of those. The biggest run of the day was a 17-yarder. 17-yarder there. So they gave up a couple bigger ones, but I thought they did pretty dang well. I got to give this defensive line some credit today because they've been up against it all season long without Nick Bosa, without Michael Williams, and you don't have Fred Warner behind you. That's a big ask. That's a big ask for this team. And you have Sam Okuanu go down in the middle of the game. So, yeah, I'm hoping to hear some good things from Kyle Shanahan on that one. We're 6 days away. I'm missing a slide, by the way. I don't know what happened, but whatever. Who cares? We're 6 days away from Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be an interesting game because Shedeur Sanders seems to think that 1 week of practice has made him into an amazing quarterback who throws for 200 yards, a pick himself. Not exactly a game that I'd be like writing home about or whatever. Brock Purdy's going to walk away from a game that was not as good as Shedeur's, I suppose, with the 3 picks. But, he's going to walk away from this game saying, I didn't play anywhere near how I need to play. That's the humble attitude we like in a quarterback. So, as I'm looking at the game, you guys just let me know what you guys think about this. Christian McCaffrey, 24 carries for 89 yards. He goes for, let's see here, 7 receptions for 53 yards. Obviously has that big 12-yard touchdown play. I love that from Christian McCaffrey. In terms of other players that stand out to me, George Kittle looked fantastic out there. Had 1 drop, but it was a meaningless drop. Had he caught the ball, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been a no gain anyways. So I thought that was good. Offensive line was iffy at times, but decent. It's like middle of the pack offensive line today, which is kind of what we're like used to seeing by the 49ers. And maybe it'll rate a little bit better when it's all said and done. I tend to be a little bit harsh. I think we all do on offensive line play. Ricky Pearsall only gets 2 receptions for 6 total yards out there today. Unfortunate. Did have that big opportunity. Ran a great route. Was in a great position to score a touchdown, and Brock Purdy, shows up late to that play. Just doesn't work quite right. Underthrows, all that bad stuff is what I'm going to say. Juwan Jennings, I thought, did well today. Overall, I thought he was, he looked a little bit more like Juwan Jennings, like we know him to be, the guy that catches the ball, and he looks like he's getting tackled, and you think, I really could have used 2 more yards on that play, 3 more yards on that play, and he fights through multiple players to get it. You love that out of Juwan Jennings. Demarcus Robinson not really involved except for the 1 reception. Didn't really do anything for me. Luke Farrell had a big miss on a play that we needed a first down from Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, by the way, what was his total in the end? 31 touches tonight, Christian McCaffrey. So the guy is just an absolute monster, continues to be an absolute monster. Upton Stout, we haven't talked about him. My goodness, Upton Stout had a big pass breakup, had an incredible acrobatic almost interception. So you got to give him some love there. Got multiple guys, by the way. Jordan Elliott. Who else was it? Kalia Davis, maybe, or no, Alfred Collins. Multiple tipped balls today from field goals, from passes. Like there were lots of little tips, little deflections going on there. Give a little bit of love for those guys there. Colton McKivitz, no, Jake Brendel. Jake Brendel on the touchdown play with Christian McCaffrey has an incredible second level block that makes that touchdown take place. That felt like vintage McCaffrey, didn't it? Felt like this play was not meant to be a touchdown play. That's that Christian McCaffrey, like and love, where something happens that you didn't expect to need to happen. Overall, I felt really, really good about how the defense played. All things considered, they're going to give up yards. They're going to give up a drive here or there. Keon White, by the way, what did he have? I wrote it down in my notes. What did Keon White do that was special? There was something out there. I'll find it in a second here. Keon White, with great run stuff. Yeah. So it's a run play. This is the 6th drive, opening in the second half. Critical play there. And then you get a little bit of help from their team. The Panthers have a couple really, really big penalties in terms of the impact of the game. They have that play toward the end of the game. I think it was their last drive, actually. Yeah. They get a first down. It would have been about a 15-yard play or 20-yard play to Leggett, and comes back because of a penalty, because Leggett steps out of bounds. The very next play is that big 8-yard loss in a sack from Cleveland Ferrell. So huge opportunity opportunity for us all to see this defense able to punch way above its weight class, and for all of us to appreciate that this defense is serious. Like, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters, of course, that they're missing all these players, but it doesn't matter in terms of like this. There's no rule that says because these guys are down, the offense has to produce, the defense can't produce. They can't help you, because that's not true. This defense played, and they played very good complementary football. I thought special teams started off a little bit rough, kind of giving up a good chunk of yardage. They had one, I think, was from several kickoffs that go to touchbacks. Just over kicking just a hair on the kickoffs. Then there's one that goes from the. Yeah, there it is. He catches it at the goal line and then runs it all the way up to the 25. Seemed too easy there. But overall, I'd say this was good complementary football outside of those 3 interceptions. And I feel like if you not take those drives out, they happened. I'm not trying to hide them, but I'm just saying if you say, let's put those drives aside for a second and look at what this 49ers team can be, you're looking at a team that can win games, can produce on the field. We're going to have to be better than that against a lot of the remaining teams that are coming in front of us, and we most certainly can be. I think in some ways, I'm going to take this as a huge positive, and you're not going to like it. I'm totally okay with that, and you don't have to agree with it. You can let me know in the comments if you disagree. But for me, Brock Purdy throwing 3 picks in the first half is so good. It's so good for him, because I really truly, the only thing I want Brock Purdy to be more careful about is some of those trying to force plays, some of that hero ball stuff where last year he throws a pick that's intended for Juwan Jennings really deep downfield, and he had an easy check down to Christian McCaffrey. I want him to be thinking that way. I want him to be humble a little bit, like stay humble in some of that stuff, and not try to be the hero unless you have to be. That's all I'm saying. I don't have any problem with you chasing a game and making aggressive plays, but you don't need to. You're playing the Carolina Panthers. You just wiped them up and down the field on the first 2 drives, on your offensive drive and your defensive drive. There is zero reason for you to go out there and start getting heroic with your gameplay in the second offensive drive. You just ran 8 minutes and 43 seconds off the clock and got a touchdown. And then your team went out there, your defense went out there, and thanks to a nice open field tackle by Upton Stout, you guys forced them to a 3-and-out to open the game. So what about that felt like you had to go and do something aggressive there? I don't know. Maybe they had a game plan. I'm sure they had a game plan we don't all understand. We don't know the ins and outs, but I feel like other than trying to force it downfield when it wasn't necessary, to me, I felt like the 49ers played a very, very good game overall. Outside of a false start penalty, I thought it was very clean. So I'm going to give the Niners some credit there, and I'm going to say that they can be better. And by golly, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how you played if you're 8-4, and you are 8-4. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, appreciate you, and hope you have a fantastic rest of your Monday night. Victory Tuesday tomorrow. Let's go.